Hey guys, okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the nodal shift, which I love this nodal shift. The south node is in Leo, the north node is in Aquarius, and this is really all about dreaming a new, bigger dream. Both signs are about dreaming. Leo is the big personal dream and our desires and what we want to go after that will truly fulfill our heart and our soul. And Aquarius is the collective dream. And I'm going to tell you how you can sync up these energies so you can be on your highest path in your highest timeline and destiny. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to go through all the signs. And I love it because Pluto right here, if you know human design, it's in the gate 41. And this is the gate that gives us a little pressure. Ooh, two hummingbirds literally just being so cute and dancing together. That's so cute. We're gonna have root pressure to go towards our dreams. We're gonna be having big dreams, big new imaginations, imagining big possibilities. And we're gonna be asking ourselves, when did we stop dreaming? And it's time to let ourselves dream again. And at the same time, with this energy, we're going to just feel that evolutionary pressure from Pluto, really pushing us to go after our desires. And this is going to give us the kind of pressure that we truly need that will actually remove all the blocks, most of the blocks. We'll get those kind of moments where all the blocks do get released. Pressure that's a little bit like an orgasm, like we'll kind of get more pressure and more pressure, and then sometimes no pressure. It's pressure that comes in pulses from our root, just wanting it, needing it, wanting to have it. And then sometimes it's not there, but we have to trust, like when we get those pulses, and when we see the whole vision, when we know we can go after what we desire and all the blocks and all the, normal things that stop us from doing it, get out of the way, we have to remember that. And that's where we can release a lot of our survival programming or just the programs in the body that stop us from going after that limitless soul expression. So this is a great time to just prioritize what you're dreaming. Because as we move into these new energies, you will notice that like what's used to be fulfilling just isn't fulfilling anymore. The stuff that you used to kill time with, or maybe you're just completely switching your interests. We really want to go after those heart desires and those soul desires. And that's what's truly going to give us that life force energy. And a lot of people freak out about the nodes in general, and the eclipses, and they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? We're going to get, we're out of control and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it is all about just getting you into alignment. And it's important to remember that we actually don't have control, our higher self is always, guiding us and directing us and giving us the most control. Our free will is choosing the dream and just holding that vision internally with what we want to experience. And then from there, our only job is to control the way we feel about things, control our perspective, the meaning we make of things, and what we believe about certain things. That is where our control is. And when we elevate, our feelings and our beliefs and, the meaning that we make of things, that's how we can get to our manifestation the fastest. Because then we become, the vessel that can receive from our higher selves. And the more that we can just have gratitude towards things, have some sort of understanding of things, why things are happening the way that they are, and become a little bit neutral about things. I always say it's kind of helpful to have like the lens of God, like you just have an understanding that everything has its place here for a reason. We don't actually have to know that reason. But if we just kind of clear our lens, against any judgment or hanging on to things or having resentments about things from the past, then that's how we can actually have the smoothest push and flow and navigation towards what's actually aligned for us. Because alignment is all about allowing, it's choosing your state, living in the highest vibration possible as much as you can, and choosing what is aligning with you now. And a big part of this is being able to let go, letting go of what's not in alignment with you anymore, whether it is a relationship or a job or a certain habit or a certain way of being, an emotional state, so many things, realizing what you can let go to be the most powerful version of you now. Sometimes it's scary to let go of things, but that is the trust and the faith that we're developing while we're here. You let go. And sometimes you just have to internally decide that it's okay if it goes. A lot of the times that's what it is the case. You can't be afraid to completely fall and start over and let not the bridge burn, but not being afraid to fall and just do things in a completely different way. And it's actually when you let go that new perspectives can come in, that the energetics of reality can shift. This does happen, like, say a work situation and say you're taking on too much responsibility and you're just like piling it all on yourself because that's just the way you thought you had to. And instead, like, shift, see that this is an opportunity to see when you can actually just let things go and see how things can adjust and make things a little bit more fair. Or it's a relationship and maybe you're hanging on to it a little too tightly and you just want it to work. You want it to work. You want it to work in this direction and you want it to go this way. Sometimes it's just helpful to let it all go and focus all on you. And that's what's going to be kind of the most powerful thing to do, kind of, moving into this new era, because it is all about sovereignty. But when you let go, I mean, it is physics. You're letting go of those low vibrational things that fit with you at that time period. And then you make room for a better job, a better relationship, a better way of being, because we're moving into a time, where it's going to be very, very powerful. This is like our next level of stepping up into more authenticity, more creating in complete congruency, and just the next level of being and seeing what that truly feels like. And we're releasing so many old templates to really get to that place, especially like the being too busy template, working too hard, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's all a personal journey for all of us. So it's looking different for all of us. But the more that you can just stay true to yourself and you just choose to live in gratitude, choose to just love everything, the more you can just get into alignment and just get pushed towards the things and magnetize the things that are actually meant for you. And that's how you actually hear your higher self, and you can receive those motivations and those excitements and just those desires to go in this direction. Here you go. This is what you're supposed to be going towards. So how I look at the nodes is that we have to use the South node to get to the North node. And they work together, because we have to be embodied in a healthy energy in the South node to be able to receive the North node. How I kind of see it is like the South node is like the boat. This is like our physical reality right here, right now. And sometimes we have to adjust the sails for the winds to catch and push us towards the North node. And we can contain the energies of the North node to go in the new directions. But they really do work together. So the South node in Leo, we're definitely going to be feeling some intense desires. We might be feeling some craving, yearning, passion, a need for certain experiences. And not saying that these experiences are always going to be good. If you know any Leos, it is, I came up with this joke recently. It's like, Okay, especially Leo risings. And I think Leo's like, how many lives do we really have to live? Because sometimes we just need to we go into a certain soul experience to have a certain experience, but then we have to transform into another experience. But this is what's really powerful about Leo, because we're just going fully into these new experiences that our heart and our soul truly craves and truly desires. And at the end of the day, this is what our soul wanted, you know? Our soul wanted a fun ride, not like a calm, easy, peaceful ride that we can have on the other side. But this is where we can get into our inner child. And that is, I know everyone says it like healing practitioners, whatever. Remember your inner child. But it literally is one of the most important things, because for manifestation, first of all, this is how we believe in the limitless possibilities. This is how kids can develop their psychic. I keep on seeing this black plane fly by like for the last couple of days. So weird with this like Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, this Aquarius full moon that just happened. I don't know. It's like a weird thing. Like anyway. So getting it, not that I'm being paranoid about it, but it's just weird. It's like never happened before, and now it's like there all the time. I wonder what that's, what's in my subconscious that is like creating that anyway. Okay, so getting into your inner child is so powerful. This is how you can believe in the limitless possibilities, because that's the whole thing with manifestation and being able to harness your psychic gifts is when you get into your inner child and you believe that anything is possible, and you are in touch with the other, dimensions more so you realize that way more is possible than we have ever been told, and we're kind of moving into a new era where we're waking up to that, and we can harness more of our power, so we can really just create whatever we want, and we can really access more of our abilities. And it's so funny. I didn't know you could actually do pyrokinesis here, but apparently you can. So that's like really interesting. But my friend the other day was like, I feel like I could start fires. I'm like, you probably could. I can see you out of anyone probably can do that. Start fires with your mind, pyrokinesis. But your inner child lets you dream big. If you don't have a healthy inner child, then you can't dream big. You won't even believe your dreams are possible. And that is how we can be more so embodied with soul level freedom. When we let ourselves play, when we let ourselves have fun, when we let ourselves be lighthearted, our lens opens up. We can see so many possibilities. We can tune into the wonder of this reality and break this reality open up a little bit more. I mean, we're so like, everyone's like in iPad. It's so depressing going to cafes and everything sometimes, because everyone's just on their iPads typing, kind of all blocked off. And it's like boring gray land sometimes. And I think this healthy Leo energy, if we get into our inner child and we bring the playful and fun and vibrancy and remember what we like to do as kids, and if we remember the superheroes or the characters, movie characters, book characters that we resonated with as a kid, that's because our higher essence is more in resonance with those powerful characters. And we can tune into that. We can start embodying that now, and we can just feel so much more powerful. And it does give us permission to like anchor more of who we truly are into this vessel, so we can like just feel like powerful superheroes and do what we came here to do. And that is where the power is. That's how we can embody that healthy Aquarius energy, because this higher level of consciousness wants to come in, but it can only come in if we are playing and being lighthearted about reality and accessing our higher self by playing, by being lighthearted, by prioritizing our joy. And did you know that joy is above purpose on the vibrational scale. So instead of focusing so much on your purpose, it might be good to just focus on joy a little bit more, because I think then you can get aligned either with a higher purpose or more of what your purpose actually is. Because it is just more powerful to give that resonance at the end of the day. Or, that's the times we're moving into. It's like vibration is powerful. And the more that you can vibrate your natural frequency, that is the most lighthearted, vibrant, light, fun, excited, the more you can like snap people out of, Grayville. And I have found that's actually pretty powerful. But play is the language of the soul. It's how we can just have that soul level freedom here in our body. It's how we can release so many blocks, because we just get to tune into that pure intention of the soul. And just listen to the heart. We get that inspiration. We go towards our purpose. Play will lead you towards your purpose. So that's really powerful to do with the South Node in Leo. But there's also going to just be desires, desires that are very, very strong that we want to fulfill. And yeah, this kind of energy is the desire that will turn into belief, like, so it's that kind of fiery energy. You just get that spark, you get that maybe a Kundalini awakening or something like that, where it turns into belief and it creates miracles. You can just go towards it. Things happen a lot faster, and you can achieve what you really want and what you really desire a lot faster. So if you're getting that pressure, if you're getting that motivation, definitely go towards it. We all came here to create something. We are all creative beings, and we all came here to live out our dreams, and we need to prioritize our dreams. And our soul's dreams are big. And with the nodes, you got to, prioritize the soul's dreams. They're big, they're limitless. They will, take you to expand and grow into new adventures and new journeys. And they will always be so like authentic or so fulfilling, unless it's just an experience that you needed to have so you can get to where you actually needed to go. But that's a part of the whole journey anyway. That's not like, there's no avoiding that. I will say a lot of the times we can even stop ourselves doing the dream, since, we're in the spiritual community here, because we're like, will it be good for humanity or whatever? But I think it's important to just put that to the wayside, because the spiritual community, we're not supposed to just be in a spiritual community while we're here. We're meant to experience life. And for example, that's why I like Tyler's tarot. And I think that's why he's doing so well, because he is like, he's a little bit of a hot mess express. I love him, by the way. I love him. But he's just being him, he's being him to the most. He loves like what he does, and he's so successful at it, but he's not trying to fit into the stale, numb, almost like dumbed down human expression of the spiritual community. So I think whatever desire it is, you need to prioritize it. You need to go after it, and you need to go towards wherever your heart is truly calling you, and express yourself in that authentic way. Our only job here is to be fully authentic. That is how we really embody our frequency. That is the most important thing that you could be doing here, because that is you deciding to be that puzzle piece in the grand scheme of things, doing exactly what you came here to do, being exactly who you're supposed to be being, and not caring what other people think at the end of the day. This is what you came here for, and only you know what that is. You literally can't ask anyone else, because they'll give you their projections and their things and their view of things. You can only go inside and decide what is really true to you. And that's how you get really lined up with it. But yeah, fiery desires can come in. And when you get a desire and know you would only desire it if it was a match to you, if it was a match to your core frequency. You wouldn't even be able to, you wouldn't care, if it wasn't a part of your blueprint already. If it that's a resonance. When you have a dream, if you see somebody else doing it, and if you just feel drawn towards it, that is for you. You just need to give yourself permission to go in that direction to actually do it. And that's where most of us stop ourselves, is just that internal thing, but that's the most important part, because when you decide, yes, that big delusional dream, that is for you, that's what you want to do, select it, start going towards it. Don't hang on too tightly to your vision, because the vision will really evolve and grow and change, especially these days. It seems like everything is changing so much faster than, it did in the past. Just let the vision grow, evolve, and change as you go towards it. And you just have to have the courage. You have to be brave enough to choose it and go after it. Say, yes, that is for me. And then that's when you can have so many perspective shifts. That's when you can be empowered in a whole new way. That's when you can realize more of your actual potential, and it makes you feel powerful. And if you guys are on social media, I really do think that's the greatest form of shadow work, because you just get to show up and get through so many of the shadows that would normally stop you from doing things. So, this is a great opportunity for that, to just posting. And I feel like with reels, even if you just post on reel, or what's it called? Trial reels, it's kind of fun. I haven't been using, I just started recently using trial reels. I've just been winging it and throwing shit out there, as like so far. But I feel like trial reels, it's just so much fun. You can just play and see what does well. And that can give you the confidence and the motivation to break out of the box a little bit more. Because at the same time, maybe we've shown up on social media and for a certain way, like I got caught up in this because I was so stuck in just astrology for a while, even though I've always known tarot and witchcraft and the esoterics, and, I'm psychic and all of that, for the algorithm. But you can't please the algorithm. You really do have to get into your heart and play, because that resonance really hits people a little bit more. It's how you will attract your people to you, which is the most important thing with the North Node in Aquarius. And you don't need to have the full big picture. You just need the first step, whatever you're motivated towards. If you're motivated towards it and that motivation doesn't leave, you're supposed to be going towards it. You've already, in a future timeline, spent time doing it. So you just need to do it. That motivation is telling you, you've done it, time to go, let's do it, let's get onto that timeline. Whatever has the most gravitational pull in the present moment is what you need to be doing at that time. So you don't need, it's actually, being in the present moment. Your inner child allows you to be more so in the present moment. And you just do step by step by step. You don't have to have the big plan. I mean, kind of a little bit, but, for the most part, it is usually the most powerful, just doing that most motivational thing, that most exciting thing, that, step by step by step, to kind of get there in more of a quantum soul way versus that linear mind way, because the heart is that higher intelligence, with that drop down view of how you can get to your goals and your desires a lot faster. So if you have a wild dream and desire, go towards it. And if you don't, it's time to start dreaming again. It's time to start letting yourself be motivated towards things and see what truly pulls you in what direction. And if you have a wide open heart and just go in that direction, things will open up for you. So being in lighthearted energy, fun, play, that's how we can integrate this Aquarius energy, because this Aquarius energy is all about thinking more so in the quantum way. It's all about opening up to paradox. because with everything, you will notice pretty much we have to be open to paradox. If we open up to paradox, we get more access to everything that is ascending versus descending. The Alchemist just put a good video about it out, and it's like, yeah, pretty much with everything, you just got to be open to both sides of whatever paradox, and that really, really opens you up and awakens you to the next level, because we're not thinking in duality anymore. We're thinking in unity. And the only way, in thinking more quantumly, and the only way to do that is to start seeing both sides of pretty much everything. We want to embody that higher frequency so we can elevate our consciousness and our awareness. And I've been seeing masses of dragonflies like everywhere. That is a sign for me that, mass consciousness, or the masses are awakening, their consciousness is elevating. Because the dragonfly, if you know, in human design, it goes like, it's born in the water, or it's like a little worm in the water. And that's kind of like what awakening is. Like, you're in the muddy water, you're swimming around. That's where we all start out before awakening. And we're like, oh, what is this crap everywhere? Oh my God, are we in hell? What are we doing here? Like, is there a God? I don't know. That was me 3 years ago. Like, is there a God? I don't know. It's so funny. My friend reminded me about that, because like after awakening, it's like you're above water and you see clearly. And it's a trip getting up there. But like, yeah, it's like going from the muddy water where you're just trudging around, trying to slosh through life. Everything's really hard. You're just like stuck in things. And then it's a long time. It takes a long time to just integrate and elevate, but it gets easier and easier and easier to just kind of move in a quantum way to embody these higher energies. So work with the body, by the way, because somatics is very, very important. Somatics, our body holds the old templates, the body holds our beliefs. And I wish I knew this a lot earlier, but I only figured this out like, I think last September. So I guess it's been a year now. But oh my God, like, because your body is purging literally. So sometimes it will just like, my shoulders like locked up at one point, and I was like, what is going on? And then like I found out about somatics, and then like just drinking a lot of water and moving differently, like not sitting in a chair. I cannot sit down all day. That's why sometimes it's difficult for me to do these long videos still. Sometimes I have to break them up, in like over a couple days. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. But you have to just let yourself do things differently, because you're anchoring these new templates that are higher energies that will let you move in more of a quantum way. And it's kind of like when you resist that, that's when you create hell for yourself. So that's when I really like, definitely just, letting yourself move and create in different ways, and working with the body, working with the fascia, whatever way you do that in, which, I guess there's acupuncture, there's somatics, there's a lot of like Eastern medicine, because they, figured out the fascia, like whatever, however many thousand years ago. I don't know why Western medicine, isn't that weird too, how Western medicine like didn't just take that information, because it's just information, like, and that's the paradox. You got to be able to embrace paradoxes. Like, it's all information, and the more information that you can have in this more quantum age, the more it's just easier. So Aquarius energy is how we can commit to our dreams and desires that we have with the South Node in Leo. We choose our dreams and desires, and that's when we align with the right people. That's when we, receive the downloads, the insights, that consciousness that we need. And that's how we can actually have the perseverance to get it done because Aquarius is a Saturn ruled sign. So we can commit to it and we can go in that direction. So they work in tandem. South Node and Leo, you have to have that dream from the soul. And, as long as it's a dream from your heart, from your soul, it's going to serve the collective. But you have to have the balls and the bravado to actually go after it. We're moving into a time where we're recognizing that we all came here to create. And the old system of the old ways of, working and living and being in these very, strict structures and routines and work and religions and blah, 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 they're just not going to work anymore because our life force energy and the divine feminine energy is ramping all the way up. And if it's not satisfying to the soul, we really won't have that life force energy to even do it. And it's going to get harder and harder and harder. So the more that you can prioritize your soul's desires, and you don't have to know how, you just have to know that that is your soul desire, and then you're on the right track. Then you're kind of going in the right direction. The universe desires your authenticity and your full essence, and for you to start creating from your soul. It's literally the only thing that matters. And we've been bamboozled into thinking that that does not matter whatsoever. But that is the most important thing that you can be doing. And that's how you can have so much freedom and fun with this transition. So Aquarius is all about a greater intelligence. It is more so, it is the two like waves. It's like the 3D intelligence and the 5D intelligence. And we're in between right now. So it's all about kind of being able to balance both while we're going through this transition. But by the way, I think it is always helpful to just like, if you are at that higher intelligence, invite people up. You just say the thing, even if it's weird or whatever. It hits that core resonance and like it brings people up and makes them, realize. Traditional, or a lot of people might see this as like, oh, technology, AI, blah, blah, blah. Like that's going to be the best thing, that's the future. And it's not. It'll be a part of one future, but we can literally do everything that a computer does and more. Our subconscious is like a quantum computer. We are, connected to everything. We are connected to the field. We have the World Wide Web inside of us. And the more we upgrade our consciousness and the more that we work with our psychic abilities, the more that we can literally just go within and get the answers that we need. And this takes time to do that. But I was just thinking the other day, I almost made a post about it, that I don't scroll anymore. And I haven't scrolled in a long time because I don't want the algorithm knowing what I'm doing or what's on my mind. And I used to just ask my higher self, like, what should I look into today? What should I watch today? And I receive either a word or a sentence or a creator. And I'll go type that in and watch that. That was like internal World Wide Web beta. And now, but I think we're going to be able to like tap into the field like even more. Like I now do ask like random questions and I'll just receive it, and also at the same time, like, and I guess this is an on the spectrum thing, hear one word about a concept and then it kind of fills in a whole gap of like a field of information in a concept over here, and it kind of webs it together. And that's really interesting. So it's almost like learning through like osmosis, or it's like pulling a thread to learn more so in a quantum way. But, it's really, really fun. So it's not like, you do got to meditate, you do got to listen, you got to tune inward. You got to let your consciousness and frequency elevate. and know how fun that can actually be, because you're literally accessing your superpowers. And 3 years ago, if you told me I was this, like this, I would be like, yeah, okay, hippie or something. I had no idea, no clue. But these are the times that we're moving into. And it's very important that to know that everybody has these gifts. Everybody is psychic. And actually, you do get more psychic if you're on the same band of frequency of other people. So my dad and brother, they do not do psychic stuff at all, but they're so in sync, they're tight, they're like very codependent, they're always with each other. And I'm like, you know what? Let's play a telepathy game. And I got out my animal cards with my animal deck. And I was like, okay, we're gonna, hold the cards and you just say one phrase that has nothing to do with the animal on the card, and you guys guess it. And they guessed each other's every single one. I always got the color right because I just see the color. But they got each other's every single one besides like one time. They got it right. And I think it's literally just because they're on the same frequency bandwidth and they were quick about it. But they are not spiritual. They don't try to be spiritual. They don't try to be healthy. They don't try to do any of these things. So if anything, they're pretty unhealthy. And yeah. But that's the time. Everybody is psychic. Okay. We all have these gifts, and it's just, about not being so distracted, to really slow down and listen in and to pay attention to your own intelligence and actually how it really does work. So this is also going to be a major time where we can line up with our people that were on the same, soul frequency as. And that's what's helpful about getting back into your inner child too, because you get back into your true frequency it gets rid of all the clutter and the judgment. Because if you think about it, children, like, they don't judge. They love everybody. They're open to everything. And we just take on this programming, not intentionally, it's just like our parents or grandparents, or sorry, my grandma, like, would always say what was on her mind. And yeah, I'm sure I got a decent amount of programming like from her. But yeah, like, like a mom just trying to be like, careful, like judging, like, oh, be careful of that person or that type of person or that type of person or whoever. And we take on that programming and we start judging those people. And you got to think of judgment as like a internal wall. You can't see that part of reality anymore. So it's good to kind of just have, like, realize when you judge people, you just, like, that's your opportunity to clear your lens so you can see more of that universal truth. Because, those might actually be your people, or you might have some resonance with certain people. I never thought I would be, this spiritual in general, because, like, yeah, never. Because it was just not like something that I would wanted to do. But that's the thing, you just awaken and you get excited and you find people that are on your same bandwidth. But I was always emo, growing up, and most as an adult also. And it's just because, like, of my traumatic childhood and everything. So I would choose to just be emo and just like a little bit like judgmental or heavy and dark. And it's not until the awakening happened and it's like, this is real reality, that it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I was just stuck in my own bullshit, actually. And you needed that bullshit to, like, survive, I guess. But we're moving into a time where we're letting go of the bullshit and we can just play and open up to who's really meant to line up with us. 3 years ago, me would have never, ever, ever gone so far into like the love and light community. And like, I'm not, never was like in the love and the light community. I mean, there was like maybe a couple months with the Kundalini awakening where you're like, woo, and you're just living in 5D land, where you're just finding the fairies and the unicorns and the dragons and the 5D stuff. And that's was fun because, and I didn't want to come down because once that's the only way I know that of 5D reality and of more of that unconditional love. And I didn't want to come down because it feels so nice up there. But yeah, that will really open you up, to if you let yourself kind of go up to the 5D and believe in the wonder and believe in the magic and really remember that unconditional love. So you can tune into your people and ideas and awaken your consciousness. And it's all about bringing it back down here. And if you're going through an awakening, like, yeah, you'll hit peaks of that and you're not meant to stay up there. You're meant to remember that is, more of true reality and kind of break through all the crap that's down here. So you can live more like that here. Who knows if we can fully even get to that? I mean, no, like our body would explode with the amount of love that we truly are, so we can only embody a certain, and my body, internal body did explode like a couple times with my awakening. Like it's a little painful. But yeah, so I'm excited for like the accelerated awakening of consciousness that's going to be going on. It's very exciting, but just know it is a roller coaster ride. Going up, being like, wow, everything's amazing. Everything's wonderful. There's colors, so many more colors than I ever even thought. And it's all about like, yeah, remembering that. So you can dredge yourself out of the gunk, out of the swamp. Okay. And yeah, Aquarius is always powerful with following your excitement because it kind of brings the pieces together. If you have strong Aquarius placements, you might be the person that hangs out with everyone from all walks of life. And it kind of gives you, or you've studied many different things and you've broken out of many boxes. And it's about bringing all those pieces together to have a wider perspective of things. But this is going to be really powerful to follow your excitement, follow your curiosity, see where it really takes you. Excitement is a pure frequency that is like telling you what is like purely resonant to your soul core. So when you go in that direction, you can be excited towards it. You can break out of the box. You can bypass more of the blocks, more of the logic, more of the programming that has been stopping you previously. You can get past the fear and you just listen to that pure soul excitement and do it and go towards it and connect with those people, things, whatever. Go towards your goals and have that soul growth and evolution, because we want to go towards the unknown. And Aquarius is strange sometimes. Sometimes it is the unknown and the strange and the unexpected. And you could go towards unexpected goals and dreams and visions or people. And it's right for you, though, if you're getting that excitement, if you're getting that joy, if you just feel that resonance to you in your core. So it's important to realize with Aquarius, sometimes we can commit to the wrong things or the wrong ideas or the wrong ways of being for too long. And I love, with human design, they call it the abysmal. You'll feel a feeling of just abysmal, and that's telling you you're committing to the wrong things, because when you're committing to the right things, it should feel exciting, fun, liberating. It should spark your curiosity. It should open up your world in a whole new way. And it's all about letting yourself go in that unknown direction so the blocks can be released. Because going towards the North Node, it's uncomfortable. We're going to be, demolishing a lot of our fears in the blocks that are in the body. But, you know, the blocks are just showing us where we're not matching up yet. But if we get that soul level excitement, that is something that is meant for us, you know. If we're like, if that is hitting us in our core, we're supposed to be going towards that. And those moments where the blocks release and you're just purely excited and feeling that liberation to go towards something, that's your sign. That's what you need to do. That will set you free. That will allow you to step into more of your sovereignty. That'll take you towards the right people, places, things, visions that will help you expand and grow. And especially if you have negative self-talk around it, you know, that is your ego trying to just pull you back, saying like, stay safe, don't get bigger, stay small. But we want to get bigger. You know, we don't want to listen to the unhealthy ego of Leo. We are letting that go. We are letting ourselves be strange, letting ourselves be different, letting ourselves be unique, let ourselves go towards just the unusual and the unknown. And you just want to run with those moments of inspiration to see where you go, because it's going to be the unknown, it's going to be the unexpected, but it's going to make you feel vibrant and alive in a whole new way, and it's probably going to awaken you. Okay, so for tropical, the nodes are going to be here until February 2028, and for the true sky, they're going to be here until May 2027. And with the true sky, they've already been here. So we've already been feeling this energy, whether you know it or not. You've been kind of doing this already since like July 2025. I didn't know that. But yeah, I've definitely been working with this energy. Oh, and that makes sense, actually. Okay. But we're going to use the tropical chart to go through all the signs because, yeah, I want to talk about Pluto and Aquarius. I like both systems. I think tropical is good for a more personal perspective. For whatever reason, it seems like it's like this smaller, more personal perspective. But I love the true sky to kind of line up with a higher truth, core soul truth. It kind of like when you use the true sky, you just kind of see things like really directly as they are. You know, so I like using both systems for different reasons. Like I was just thinking today, my Gemini Venus, like I have a Gemini Venus, you know, that is a part of my personality. My Sagittarius moon, that's a part of my personality. Because literally this morning, I could not decide if I wanted to dress up as a goddess or if I wanted to dress up as a grungy skater boy. So I did my makeup like a goddess, but then my outfit with my jeans is like grungy skater boy. Okay, so let's go through all the signs, and I'm going to start out with Leo. And make sure you check out your sun, moon, or rising. Your rising is going to be the most accurate for your life right now. Your moon is going to be that emotional resonance to things. And yeah, I think how you can line up with your manifestations also like internally. And the sun is more so like long term, you know, career, image, you know, that core soul long term kind of vision and goal, how you can get in alignment with that. Okay, so going to start out with Leo. So for Leo, this is all about releasing old identities that are more so ego-based, or maybe you've had to, you know, present yourself out in the world in a certain way for responsibilities, jobs, certain relationships. And this is all about getting back into the core of who you truly are. You know, that core being in your heart, in your soul. What did you come here for? You know, what were you like as a child? How did you, yeah, how can you embody that superhero that you loved as a child, because that is going to let you step up into that ultimate power. That's what you're really going to be craving. And it's going to be very important to do that, because that's going to push you towards the right people, the right relationships, the right opportunities. The seventh house is very important. This is our one-on-one relationships, which is, kind of the most important thing, one of the most important things, because it can be friendships, marriage partners, business partners, clients, wherever we're dealing with the other. It's very, very important. But it's also our business, pretty much, like how we're represented to the public with our business. And this is a way we can get more aligned with showing who we authentically are, because authenticity is a frequency, and if someone's being authentic or not. Especially the more authentic you let yourself be, it grounds people more so into their coherence. And we're going to move into a time where more and more and more, like, you're going to be able to tell when somebody's not really actually being true to who they are. And there's just so many ways that we have been, programmed to be like that. Like, we've, for the last thousands, hundreds of years, we've been pushed, I don't know, we've been pushed into like certain religious practices, certain, industries, certain countries, whatever, to just be this certain way to fit in. And was the way that we survived. It's like you fit in with these rules and this way of being and this way of life and this way of working, whatever it is, because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's it. But times are changing. We're not doing that anymore. It is all about sovereignty. And the more that you find your own sovereign power, the more that you are aligned with your heart and your soul. And Leo's like, this is we just keep on getting tested to be the first people to kind of start doing it before everybody else. It's been challenging, but since we've gone through this 8th house, 12th house stuff, like, we cleared out a lot of the gunk of what was not actually us. We were pushed into cave mode, into isolation, to really discover and to go inward and to really know who we truly are at that core level. And now it's like, okay, so how can we embody that now? And maybe it's like embodying more of our freak flag. I know I actually have not put like a lot of my freak flag out there with everything that I'm really interested in like the spiritual community and stuff. And especially, like, I think I just started talking about like my psychic abilities and how like developed they've gotten, and just the times that we're moving into and all of that. And yeah, I also have been in the astrology box and then the spiritual box, but now it's like we're moving into the authenticity box, and that is the brand. That is the your life. Like, it is more about your life and authenticity and way of being. And that's going to organize all areas of your life, where you live, who you're with, your career. So the more true to yourself that you can be. We're going to be creating our lives from congruency. And the best way to do that is to get into our inner child again, to live as a kid, because you know how kids run around and they just say whatever. I mean, we're not going to be like in that, like, they're picking their nose or they farted and they just talk about it. We're not going to go that far, but that is how we can be the most magnetic. It's just like what we're thinking, what we're feeling are in congruence, and so we're putting it out there. We're living authentically. We're living as humans. We're always supposed to live without all the masks and all the bullshit, because it's actually, we wouldn't have a shadow if we weren't putting on a mask. There's this book, I think it's called like How to Be Human, or let me get it. It's called like Being Human, and it's so funny that we have to learn how to be human now. What's it called? It's by a French Oh, Carl Rogers on Becoming Human. He has a whole book about congruence, which is all about just aligning, and it's basically alignment. It's kind of the same thing. There's different words for it. Authenticity, congruence, being, alignment. Pick your word, but it's literally just about like your thoughts in your heart, in your feelings, and everything is all in alignment. And what that's how you can really listen to your higher self in a powerful way. That's how you can be guided. That's how you can create. That's how you can become magnetic. That's how you can become attractive towards everything and just magnetizing everything towards you. And yeah, because you're looking for the next level of freedom. And I love, here's your squad. You're going to feel free to be you fully and fly out into a whole new kind of horizon, because we're supposed to be just flying on our Dharma timeline with more fun, freedom, joy, excitement. And wherever you're not doing that and you're hanging on to certain things or ways of being, and it's just low vibrational and it just doesn't feel good anymore, let yourself evolve, let yourself let go, let yourself evolve into the new way of being. And that's how you can really give yourself that soul freedom, because you're going to be craving it. And I don't think with the South Node, it takes away our life force energy. It can make us lazy. But I think that's only the case if we're hanging on to what we're not supposed to be hanging on to. So, because look, solar plexus chakra came out. This is what's going through the mutation in human design. And this is what our new motor. This is how we're going to have energy. The black plane again flying by, so crazy. So, we have to go towards what we desire and what we dream of and what fulfills us. And if we're not going to have any life force energy. And this is also what makes us radiant and magnetic. And this is what lets us truly be healthy in this new paradigm. So I think we're evolving our solar plexus, in a massive way. So we have to let ourselves be and be authentic and kind of go through those tests and challenges on the way, and let ourselves let go of the things that are not fulfilling us, so we can leap literally really fast and really quick into the things that are meant for us, that are higher vibrational and are more resonant to the core of who we truly are. So the frequency of solar plexus, the yellow flower of life, supports sense of self, personal power, our willpower. Yeah. So when we're going towards all those things, we're going to have the energy. We're going to feel our personal power. We're going to be glowy again. You always know, like, when a Leo isn't doing well, and I've been here many of times, like when we're not following our dreams and desires, because we die on the inside. Like, we're supposed to let ourselves go through the transformation and live another life and reinvent ourselves. How many lives can we live in this lifetime? So we can feel empowered, and so we can just be radiant like the sun, and so we can find our people that we're supposed to be affecting, that truly love our light. So soul time, yep, align with the soul and the divine feminine energy. Yeah, remember, we're moving into the era of the divine feminine. So getting in touch with your soul and your core essence and meditating. And if you need help with that, check out my Shift program, or you could work with me one-on-one. But it is all the manifestation practices and the tools and just the ABCD. This is what you can do to get in touch with your divine feminine energy and your soul purpose and get in alignment with your dreams. And also, like, it helps you manifest all the things. So that's how you're going to be the most powerful. And that's kind of why people feel off right now, because we're so used to doing, going. But now we're going to be the most powerful with the feminine energy, which is dreaming, imagining, and then listening to the inspirations, when to go, when to do the thing, creating more. And so many different ways we're just flipping the energy from moving in masculine, and now it's going to be like feminine first, and that is going to be the most powerful, then the masculine. You need both, obviously. We're not just only going to be doing the divine feminine, but It's getting that solid core of the divine feminine energy. And that's also why I like to do True Sky, because I feel like that aligns you with the core of the divine feminine energy. So your masculine energy can be really healthy and really strong, to go towards the things that are truly meant for you. All right, Leo. Or I feel like I didn't talk about the seventh house. Yeah. Be open to different opportunities, when it comes to your business, different kinds of relationships. Just you are growing and evolving towards different relationships and different opportunities, because the seventh house is just opportunities that come your way through different kinds of relationships. So you can be open to the quirky and the weird and the different, but if they're kind of for you, because you feel that joy, you feel that excitement, energy doesn't lie, you feel that vibration, you feel that, like, bing, bing, bing. Like if you've ever been around a soul connection, you just know it's just like vibing, unless it's a super strong connection, then there's a lot of triggers, but those triggers can help you get more so in tune with your resonant with your core soul resonance. At the end of the day, whoever comes in is just a mirror. We are attracting everyone in because of the stuff that is within us. And usually whoever is magnetized towards us, whoever we have that magnetic connection with, it's because that quality that person has needs to be awakened within us. And then, like when we start to recognize that quality within us, the magnetic pull and that desire and that obsession does dull down. But at the same time, there will still be those connections that come in that still, like, they're a lightning bolt, and they'll awaken you and awaken you and awaken you. And it's like more of your energy, more of your energy. And, those are the connections that we're looking for, the ones that we can truly vibe off of. And it's kind of like you can have that amplified field together and you just are vibing because you're just doing the same things that you're supposed to do here. And those are the kind of connections that you want to be going towards, whether it's romantic, friendship, platonic, your community, clients. Manifest your clients to be your best friends. And that's like how it should be. And all right. Of course I go extra long for Leo, but this is a big transit for Leo. And I'm a Leo rising. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. All right, Virgo. So this is a challenging one. I will say that. No sugarcoating here. Leo rising, we just got out of this. This was surprisingly so intense and deep. And there is no way. I mean, okay, I'm going to give you the way to get out of it, actually, because I've just gone through it, so I can give you the tools. But surprising. It's kind of like you get a car being stuck in the mud and you're trying to get out and you're trying to get out and you're trying to get out and you can't get out. You just have to deal with the shit that you have jam-packed in your subconscious and in your body, and just like all the emotional stuff that is like keeping you weighed down, and you are facing it. But that is a good thing, because after this, you're going to be able to fly. And you're going to look back and be like, did it have to be that hard and that heavy and that depressing? Yes, unfortunately, there is just a time, there is just a season of life. But here is the key, though. And I wish I knew this at the beginning. And a lot of you might just completely just blow over it, because I definitely would have at the beginning of this. The answer is love and light. Unconditional love and light for yourself first, because you're just going through an internal cleanup, literally. You're cleaning up your internal system so deeply, and you're purifying it so you can get in touch with your pure core frequency. And that's how you're going to be able to be super magnetic and get everything that you want, and to be so in touch with your higher self, and to be able to create what you want. and to be psychic as fuck. But it is all about choosing unconditional love for yourself. So say you're just kind of stuck and you're feeling weighed down and you're dealing with, the Saturn Neptune stuff, which is like heavy relationships, money worries, all worries about death. Our deepest worries and fears about life is in the eighth house. Anything that you can think of that is super deep, super intense about life is in the eighth house. And for you, it's an Aries, so it's coming up maybe in actual circumstances. Um, just kind of bringing up your deepest, darkest fears and doubts and insecurities. And if you look at the vibrational scale, it's literally just everything on the lower end of the vibrational scale of emotions, of consciousness. And it's all about transforming all of that into love, into acceptance. You are developing the lens of God, basically, the God, creator, universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you call the higher source, is just realizing that everything is here to exist. You don't have to like it, and you get to choose what you like, but everything has its purpose and everything can exist, and all experiences happened for whatever broader reason. But you just, the more you can let it go and choose just unconditional love for yourself and unconditional love for everything else and everybody else, the faster this releases, the faster you can get unstuck from the mud. But yeah, depending on your level of where you are awakened to, it might be surprising because, I've heard people that have woken up like majorly and still like they didn't realize to the full extent that of the more that they can waken up to. So it's very interesting, what this can do. But realize, yeah, it's just like you're going through the gunk to release yourself from the gunk fully. And it's very important to just give yourself time to not be so outward focused, to really go inward, develop a connection with your higher self, really do the deep internal work of just that emotional transmutation, transforming everything into love and acceptance. In the lens of God, I didn't finish it, just understanding and acceptance for everything. And as long as you just get into the acceptance that it's there for whatever reason, and future you will know exactly why, and you don't really have to know. And that's another thing, not staying stuck on stuff, letting yourself flow, because this is like just letting the life force flow through you in a lot easier way. But it's like facing all those internal blocks where you weren't letting that happen, where you weren't letting source flow through you. And all those internal blocks are the resentments, fears, anxieties, doubts, your internal blocks, programming, yada, yada, that is burning away. I love this card because it's like a burn. Embrace the burn. So yeah, it's intense. It's deep. You're going to feel intensely and deeply, and you're letting this stuff come up. You're letting it just be yucky for a little bit, just so you can feel it fully. You don't even have to think it out. Just let yourself feel it, and it releases. You are burning it away. Give yourself that time to go inward and be alone with your frequency, because that is what's kind of happening right now. You need to get in touch with your core frequency. And you do need to be alone for that, because sometimes we can be so distracted with people, places, things, yada, yada. But right now, like your like inner world is amplified, and you might just find yourself alone during this time, but that's important. It's important to let yourself be alone, because you're getting in tune with your higher self and your core essence, to realize who you really are and what you really want. And to just, yeah, find like that, just because that's going to be your anchor. We're moving into bumpier times, but once you find that solidness with your core, you're going to be fine everywhere. No matter where you go, what you deal with, This is making your core like so strong. Anything can go away. Anything could be happening, but you're like, oh, I'm good. You know, I found my core. Like I know who I truly am and what I can do and what I'm going towards. So it's important to be flexible. You know, work with your body because the sixth house is like working with your body in a different way. Maybe go towards different healing modalities. There's frequency healing, sound healing, but also, you know, Western healing if you need it. But work with the fascia because, you know, with this happening, it's kind of like a lot of energy is kind of moving through your body, whether you know it or not. And it's like, it moves easier when you work with the fascia. Like, oh my God. I remember like, yeah, for a couple, like almost a month, my whole like upper body was like stiff. And I was like, what is this? Is this getting old? Because I do not want to go through this. And like like it released though. And I'm actually way more flexible than ever, but you got to work with the fascia. And there's acupuncture, there's somatics, there's cupping, there's all sorts of different things that you can do to work with the fascia. And that will help you upgrade your body. Let me pause this to see if I can think of anything else, just because, yeah. This is sovereignty. This is about you, though. So anywhere you might be too attached, in that this is the eighth house challenge, is like being willing to let go of anything. And sometimes you don't even have to fully let go of it, but just getting to that internal place where you're like, okay, we can let this go. And then you see dynamics, whether it's relationships or like, you know, your work or your business, you can see how things can shift and change and move. And that's the whole thing. Like so, things want to shift, change, and move. So your whole life is more so in resonance with who you truly are at the core. And yeah, this is the time to dream big. Your higher self is yelling at you and it's trying to connect you to your big dreams, goals, and desires. This is a great time for passion projects and to work on things behind the scenes. And that could, you know, be really powerful. You could work on a really powerful project behind the scenes that you launch when Jupiter goes into Virgo and it makes you super abundant. But be patient with yourself and others and give yourself yeah, it's you time now. I know Virgo puts everyone else first, but this is time for you, you know, self-love, self-care. Embrace the fire in the transformation, learn emotional alchemy, learn, you know, about your psychic abilities, learn about the esoterics. It just really helps you learn, you know, more about yourself. And if you would like to help doing that, I know I basically know all the tools. No, I don't. I don't know all the tools, but after going through this, I know a decent amount and probably what would help you if you resonate with me. And yeah, also my shift program has a lot of actually what would help someone go through this because that's what I made while I was going through this. And know that your sacral chakra, this is the divine feminine energy, you getting in tune with your feminine energy, going inward to your imagination and connecting with your own flow. Because you're going to be releasing old habits, routines, work, ways of being, people, relationships that aren't fitting with you anymore. So you can evolve into more freedom, more sovereignty, more flow, more wu-wei in your everyday life instead of controlling, forcing, pushing. You are going to be gliding, but it's important for you to live in alignment, for you to let yourself flow into what's actually truly meant for you because you're going to be going towards your dreams and your desires. But you got to listen to yourself and the best way to get there. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo. And yeah, if you would like to work with me, definitely check out my links down below. I am going, I will be able to help you fully with this transit. Sorry, I almost coughed. Okay. Libra. Okay. So this is an exciting one. Actually, I love this because it is time to prioritize your creative projects. Your creative projects are going to set you free, where your heart is calling you. And it might be towards new relationships, towards different kind of projects, working with technology, whatever you are being called to create, you should definitely create it. Because there can definitely be some creative talents that are coming on from past lifetimes that are super, super powerful also. And yeah, you can go towards that. I love that divine feminine energy came out. Go towards that to express yourself in a whole new way. And with the South Node in Leo, you know, there might be old dreams, old visions, an old friend group, network, social media, way of being on social media that you're releasing so you can be more authentic. Like especially with social media, I feel like we were all in our boxes of whatever boxes we were in. And now it's just all about authenticity. It's all about living more so as that multidimensional quantum being that you are, so you can be who you truly are out in the world with more authenticity, with all your interests and hobbies and ways of expressing yourself, and not being afraid to express yourself in different ways, or break out of the mold. Basically, it's not popular to be in the mold, to be in the box, to be in that specific community. It's more popular to be friends with everybody and to just be friends with who you truly are resonating with. Or what was I gonna say? Yeah, you can't be afraid if you are on social media. I don't know why I keep on getting pulled towards that. But if you are on social media, you can't be afraid to lose people that you used to resonate with. And that goes along with friends too. You know, you used to resonate with them. They were there for a reason and a season. But now it's like your fire, your passion, your desires, you want to line up with people that are going to boost you up and elevate you and kind of ignite you in a whole new way and make you feel alive in a whole new way. And that can happen really easily right now. And you can have a lot of fun doing it. So it's definitely time to, you know, prioritize your fun, prioritize your enjoyment, embrace your inner child, and, you know, just fully like expressing yourself in a whole new way. And that will let you show up out in the world in a whole new way that can be super magnetic and aligned and attract your people to you. And it can also attract like bigger opportunities to you, because the 11th house is where we get, you know, our big hopes and our dreams and our wishes, and they can come in, you know, very randomly and suddenly, as long as you're aligned with your vision, with what you truly want. Sometimes we manifest things because we're like, oh, that would look good for society, or that's what society says it's successful, or blah, blah, blah. And sometimes we just go towards those desires to learn that it's not that great, you know? Sometimes we get what we want to learn, like, oh, no, this is actually what I really want. And at the end of the day, you're going to go through that journey. There's no not going through that journey. So prioritizing your desire for the moment, going towards it, seeing what it's like, seeing how it evolves you, but, you know, not being afraid to let go of that and move towards something else. So you can always go towards the people, places, things, and opportunities that truly make you feel alive and vibrant, and not to stay in any societal box or standards of you're this age, this is what you should be doing, or you're this kind of person, this is what you should be doing. The rewards will come when you are just doing you, and you are just being the way you want to be and having a lot of fun with it. There is so much power with having fun, embracing your inner child and your wildest hopes and dreams and desires. And again, if you didn't watch the beginning, you would only have those dreams and desires if they were resonating with you, if they were hitting you in the core. That's how you feel that excitement and motivation and just up, even like desire to go after them. That can be yours. You just have to say yes and start going towards it and align your internal world so you know it's yours already. Because as soon as you decide it's yours, it's actually yours and you can actually flow towards it. It doesn't actually have to be hard. You choose it, you can go towards it, you can have it. And divine feminine energy came out. So it is powerful to get in touch with the divine feminine energy. This is what my shift course is about, because we have been so strong in the masculine energy of doing, being, forcing, controlling, fitting in the box, fitting the mold, blah, 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 changing, needing to be better, blah, blah, blah. Oh, not in that time anymore. Thank God. The power is in the divine feminine energy, and the divine feminine energy is staying true to your heart and your core essence in your soul and knowing how to express that to the fullest extent. And that's how all the luck, opportunities, and people can come your way. So it might be soul time for some of you. Don't, be hard on yourself if you're, adjusting things. This is a more fun transit, Libras love hanging out with everybody. So like just be ready to shift and change and just let go of what's not for you and listen to your soul, listen to that divine feminine energy and prioritize your alignment and you living and creating in congruency to flow towards what's truly yours. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. And if you would like to work with me, check out my links down below. All right, Scorpio, this can be a bigger one for you because when the nodes are at an angle, big life shifts can happen. And this has to do with the South Node in your career house and the North Node in your home environment and foundation. And yeah, this might be going through a complete shift. You want to be open to the ways that things are shifting. And letting go of any career or personal image of who you have been out in the world. And this is a time to reinvent yourself. And you're going to be reinventing yourself in a way that is more true to the core of your being and who you truly are. It is a powerful time actually to maybe be a little bit of a homebody. Because sometimes we get put a little bit in isolation so we can like really discover ourselves, rediscover ourselves. But the North Node in the fourth house can definitely do that. Maybe, wanting to be a homebody to really just like be in your essence and, just discover yourself. And maybe you're going through an awakening too. But yeah, this is Scorpio, the next level of Scorpio. And the more you can let yourself go through this transformation, and let yourself create your life from that core resonance of who you truly are, you're going to be good. So yeah, how do you want to live? Where do you want to live? Who do you want to live with? What do you want to be doing? What are you passionate about? Maybe you've been at a job that's like secure for a while, but it's, this is a slow process. This is going to be happening over 2 years. So it's not like the first eclipse happens and you're just going to be shoved into it. This is a slow, steady evolution. But this is going to be kind of like a self-discovery of where you want to live, where do you want to work, what are you passionate about, what is a legacy that you want to leave out in the world, because the 10th house is that long-term goal and that long-term vision and what you want to be known for. What is the imprint that you want to leave on the world? And the way that you can get in tune with that in a very healthy way is by getting back into your inner child. What did you like doing as a kid? What people, characters, and superheroes did you kind of look up to that kind of reminded you of that grandness and just that epic storyline and that big dream that you knew you could easily do as a kid? It's time to kind of get back into that energy so you can go out and conquer the world in the way that you were truly meant to. So being a little bit more playful, being a little bit more lighthearted, that can help you embody the energies so you can be magnetic out in the world when it comes to career and opportunities and just accepting or in relationships. I mean, the 10th house is a big house. It's like the house of marriage. So it's all the ways that your life can shift and the way you just show up out in the world. Maybe you want to dress in a different way, shift things up. Does just because you hit a certain age doesn't mean you have to stop wearing belly shirts or whatever you want to wear. Like, this is the time for authenticity. This is the time for, sovereignty and doing what makes you happy, basically, at the end of the day. What is going to make you happy out in the world? How do you want to live? You want to be happy out in the world. You want to be radiant. You want to be alive. You want to be going after your dreams and desires. And yeah, it's going to be a nice balance back and forth, to really like go within yourself, to show up and out in the world in a way that is more truly representative of you and your being. And with the North Node in the fourth house, let yourself go through an evolution. And this could be a big time where you're breaking through just a lot of like family contracts or family stuff. Like you're the black sheep elevating the family line, and breaking all the what's it called? Why can't I think of it? Anyway, breaking through all the family karma and doing life differently, taking what worked, leaving behind what didn't. This could be a time to really see the other's perspective and to have a lot of family healing. But I think your ancestors are cheering you on during this time. The North Node, just like you're getting that support from, all around. We always have support all around. It's just like being able to tune in and open up to that. But yeah, you can have a lot of support to break through the ancestral, there we go, patterns that have been holding everybody back. So you can elevate the family lineage. But yeah, if you want to move somewhere very random, you might be drawn to be doing that. If you want to work somewhere completely different, make adjustments in your certain very close personal relationships, that could all happen during this time. But it's all up to you. How do you want to live? Get into your being and into your heart, and align your life in the way that makes you feel alive and that you can be passionate about. Okay, so passion came out. That's why. Passion is the frequency that reminds us that beneath every hidden intense emotion lies a hidden gem of insight, balance, calm. It assists us to find the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos into its core. Yes, there can be certain, chaos, because the nodes can be chaotic, especially if we're hanging on to people, places, things, that we know aren't good for us, like where we know we need to maybe spend less time or adjust the dynamic so we can evolve, because your heart's going to be calling you. You're passionate about something, and this is where you'd be feeling that more intensely. Those resentments, jealousy, anger would come up even more to just give you that indicator of, this is not meant for you. This needs to change. This needs to go. You need to start going in that direction. Like your soul is calling loud to get you in the right direction, in a certain direction out in the world. And your passion is going to tell you where that is, because you want a big, bold dream. And if you can dream it, you can have it, that you can wake up to every day and that you can go towards. Communication. Yep, there might be new ways of communication. You kind of representing yourself more authentically out in the world. And then also just new perspectives with family. And I don't know why I wanted to say this, but yeah, maybe higher dimensional communication coming in from your higher self. Because the fourth house is also like where you can maybe go through some clearing internally so you can have more access, anchor more of your higher self. Actually, that makes a lot of sense with this transit too. And yeah, but prioritizing your inner peace, that will help everything kind of fall into alignment. You choose the dream, you choose what makes you feel peaceful. And then that's how people, places, things, opportunities, the dream can all align with you. Dream that big dream, choose that big dream, and then let your reality shape into that dream. And if you would like help with that, check out my shift program, or you can work with me one-on-one. All right. Thank you, Scorpio. All right, Sagittarius. We are balancing out thy will with divine will with this one. And the way we can do that, because the free will that we do have is choosing our lens, basically. You know, our perspective is a co-creation with reality, and we get to choose how we feel about things, you know, how we see things, what we believe. And the best way to get to a very elevated perspective and to widen your lens is to just love everything, or just kind of have an understanding for everything, or to be open-minded. With the South Node in the ninth house, you don't want to be dogmatic, and you don't want to hang on to certain belief systems or religions or judgments, because that will kind of cap off your lens. Judgments are kind of like a wall within. It's kind of like you just blocking off a part of reality, and you can't see the universal truth of that reality if you aren't deciding to see it, if you're not deciding to open up, because you might be drawn towards learning something new with the North Node in the third house, learning something new, opening up your mind and curiosity. And this kind of reminds me of just like quantum learning. You know, if you're a little ADD, or if you're like on the spectrum a little bit, you can learn in a really, really fast way, or maybe during this transit, you just are for a little bit. But it's really fun because you can learn really fast and really easily. And it's kind of like just following a thread. And sometimes you pick up a thread here, 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 and it's kind of like it weaves everything together. And like me, I'll hear like a concept about something, and then it'll just kind of fill in a whole nother gap over here, and it just kind of brings out this bigger picture. You know, everything is connected, everything is a web at the end of the day, like literally. So this can be a great opportunity for you to see where everything is a little bit more connected, so you can widen your lens and you can see more of reality. Because when you do that, you can actually have more freedom with reality and freedom with co-creating your reality, because your higher self is definitely amplified right now. You are getting signals, you know, go towards passions, interests, a big dream, a big desire. And this is super lucky with Jupiter in the ninth house. It is fun time. It is lucky time. It is expansion time. It's time to travel. It's time to follow your passion in your heart and wherever it's calling you. You know, if you know a Sagittarius, it's like, where are they going to go next? Where are they going to be called? I don't know. You just do, you know, you listen to your heart and you go and you do, and it's for a good reason always. So it's very fun. Be open to the adventure, and yeah, don't kind of release, wherever you might be kind of limiting yourself from the adventure. You could be open to new philosophies, new spiritual systems, new foreign cultures. Yeah, there you go. I don't know why that took me a second. Yeah, you can learn a lot just through traveling. You can learn so much more through traveling, because when you're going and visiting people and cultures, and it's a completely different way of life, and every single time, pretty much everywhere I've gone, I'm like, why do we live like that in America? Like, you see how it is kind of like a big, I don't know, psychologically controlled way of being. I don't know. Americans are very, very brainwashed. Like, we think like this is like the best like way to live in the world. It's really not. Sorry. It's not. So I suggest traveling, because that will kind of open up your mind in a whole new way. And it's like you can be around people and kind of pick up more information, probably through osmosis. You know, sometimes you just like, you'll go and visit a place and you just pick up like that relaxed way of being and that relaxed way of life. And it just kind of awakens you in a whole different way. And that can definitely happen during this time. If you've been wanting to speak up in a different way, if you've been wanting to write a blog, start a social media, do public speaking, the ninth house, because you can get so aligned with your destiny and your purpose. And that's like the fuel that fuels the fire. Once you find that, it kind of makes your life a little bit just more fun and more easy. You can live more in flow on your Dharma timeline where everything is easy, fun, more so in flow. So yeah, follow your heart and make sure you're prioritizing your purpose and your visions and your big dreams during this time. I think there can be a part of this, like by you remembering your inner child, because Sagittarius has just come out like wise usually. Because there's such a strong connection to your like higher self already. So like remembering your inner child so you can strengthen that connection again and just receive, the motivations, the excitements. And that'll help you live more so in the present moment. There is a lot of growth and evolution and just excitement and following your curiosity, following your fun that can fully just anchor your superpowers in the present moment. There's so much power in the present moment. And it literally is all about just like getting your awareness into the present moment every single time that you catch yourself like in the past or in the future or your worries or blah, blah, blah. Right here, right now. That is the only thing that exists. The present moment of pure potential. It literally is the I am. That's where you get the vertical access of all of who you truly are and how you can, access all the other like timelines that you can jump onto that is horizontally. It's kind of like, consciousness is on a needle on the record. I don't know why I'm going into this. Okay. But consciousness is like a needle on the record. And this is where your power is. You get to choose where you want to be on the record. And the record, yeah, it does go horizontal with what you want to choose, but it's also vertical with all the different versions that you want to choose. So you can become a different version of you, like that higher version of you up here, and you can choose from this like selection of reality, or you can stay whatever stagnant here and choose from this like little area of reality. But we live in a quantum reality. And I think you can have a ton of power right now with actually realizing that and just living in the present moment, in the I am, in the full present moment of pure potential. How else can I describe this? I don't know. To really access so much more. So fertility, the frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow in our consciousness into a new, grander expression. Yes. Okay. So yeah, finding curiosity and joy and play in your everyday life will like awaken your consciousness. It'll elevate your consciousness so you can like take that, like ground that energy into the here and the now. And then when that happens, when you're just living in gratitude every day, joy, play, fun, then you line up with all the people, places, things, opportunities, ideas, blah, 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 that are, just meant for you. Like magic can happen so easily in your everyday life. But it's up to you to choose play every day. Choose play, choose flexibility, choose your inner child, and let the creative tap flow. Because I think that's how just the creativity in your life force energy can just flow. And you don't have to think big picture. You just have to think present moment, follow your excitement, because excitement is the purest frequency to your soul. Go after your desires, have that image for your desire that is definitely meant for you. And if you're motivated towards something, then that is also meant for you too. Curiosity, joy, excitement, play, that all gets you more so anchored with your higher self in your everyday life. Then you can move in quantum ways. Fulfillment. And also your inner child just has so much more imagination and dreaming and flexibility. And you can see how your world can change a lot faster with the times that we're moving into, because a lot of fulfillment wants to come in and the abundance wants to come in in a fulfilling way. So sometimes we can get stuck in ways that we used to make abundance or whatever. And this is the times that we're moving into, is just having more trust and faith and listening to our soul and, you know, where we're being nudged to, so we can go towards the abundance in a really fun way and that is actually fulfilling. But yeah, you're going through a purification. This reminds me of, yeah, Leo, because it's the sun. The sun is going through a purification. Your ninth house is going through a purification. So don't hang on to any beliefs, perspectives, worldviews, religion, spirituality. Yeah, because I love how everyone's going to, I guess, Christianity. Why am I bringing this up? I don't know. Well, Chris, there's a bunch of Christian groups that are paying a lot of witch influencers to advertise going to Christianity. But usually, okay, I mean, if you go through enough spiritual systems, that's just what happens. It's a journey. You go through all of them and you see, oh, they're all one, pretty much. I mean, then you recognize the distortion in all of them, because they also all have distortion too, unfortunately. But when you get into the unconditional love and you have your lens of unconditional love and understanding for everything and everyone, then you can see that distortion for yourself. So purification, and the purification can happen in a very easy way by you just getting into your inner child, you getting into the wonder, into the play. And yeah, play is how you embody that soul level freedom. So that's what wants to happen too, is that you do want to have that soul level freedom, and you do want to just go and be called to, because when you embody soul level freedom, like, you have limitless possibilities. You know, there's more options, there's more ways of creating your life. And yeah, it's just all about kind of doing that so you can have that. Okay. And then, yeah, security keeps on coming out. There's a new way. It's releasing, burning away the tribal way of security of the past, so you can have the fulfillment that's actually fun and juicy and a lot more bigger too, a lot more abundance that can come in that is actually fulfilling and fun and more in alignment with your inner child. Oh, and another thing, because I just thought of this, like having the freedom to also speak whatever is on your mind. And you just doing that actually gives you the freedom. Because then you can live more so in congruence, in more of your authenticity. You know, it doesn't matter who like leaves, you're at least speaking your truth and you're living in alignment with who you truly are. And that's how you get on your soul path the easiest. That's how you get aligned with people, places, things, opportunities that are actually meant for you. That's how you can be more so embodied and magnetic out in the world. All right, thank you so much, Sagittarius. And if you would like to help shifting in clearing your lens and having an amplified frequency, definitely check out my shift program down below. And if you would like to work with me one-on-one, also check out my links down below. Ooh, Capricorn, this might be it's a little bit more of an intense one, because, you know, the eighth house is never too fun to deal with. You're dealing with the deeper things in life. You know, the eighth house, it has the ugly stuff with life. Like, it's where we deal with death, our deepest fears that could possibly ever happen, our deepest doubts, our deepest insecurities. And all of this is just coming up to set you free. You might just feel extra worried during this time, and just like, but with Jupiter, it's kind of fun. It's like it comes up, it leaves. You know, it can happen a lot faster with Jupiter, because Jupiter is a little bit more lighthearted. But what's happening during this time is that, like, you're going through an internal purge. And if you look at the frequency scale, you're purging not all, obviously, we'll never purge all of it, but a lot of it, whatever's on the lower vibrational scale, so you can kind of get more up on the vibrational scale. And the goal isn't to just like live at the top. It's just being able to really like scale it, and have a lot more freedom and flexibility to scale the vibrational scale and become a master at choosing what you want to feel. So it helps you create your reality in the way that you want to create it. Because when you master that and you choose how you want to feel about something, you choose to let go, detach, evolve, transform. That's what makes you super magnetic, and it'll make you super sovereign. So this is going to be a time where you might be reevaluating your relationships, any serious relationships that you're merging money with. So it could be marriage partner, could be business partners, but you're also reevaluating your time and your energy. How are you spending your time and energy with other people? And are they taking too much of it? Do you need to put up some boundaries? You need to have that energy for you, and you can't have people coming in like just taking and taking and taking your energy, because that will be a test. And you got to put up those boundaries so you have this fuel for yourself to create your own life, because you can become rich during this time. Pluto is in your second house. Like, it's time to think out of the box. It's time to go after your curiosity and your excitement, and maybe different ways that you can see that you can serve the collective, um, that you can make money doing, actually. I saw this thing. Stephen Burns had this, not a beekeeper, but this guy had this honeycomb device that was actually like a magnet. And the guy wasn't trying to make money. He just discovered this thing to help the bees. And turns out it actually helps humans with their frequency. And his business ends up doing so well because he found this thing that's, higher consciousness. It's a higher idea that we need right now to save the bees, because the bees aren't doing well with all the cell towers and the parasites and everything. But this cures the bees, and it also cures us, because it kind of brings our frequency back to more of that natural frequency. But it was really cool because you would put this like magnet, they would put this magnet in the beehive, and the bees would just like go around, and it's kind of like it's cleansing their vibration, and it would just make so much better, so much more honey, better honey. And the bees are just healthier, and there's a lot more bees. And yeah, so be open to the weird ideas that come in that are a part of your passions and what you like to do and how you like to spend your time and your energy. Because that can be like a part of what you do to make a lot of money. A very unique, weird idea could definitely make you money that serves the collective, that is frequency based, that is more future oriented, that is community based. And you might be pushed during this time to let go of old ways of making money that used to be comfortable and reliable and steady and was maybe based on loyalty, because that era is done and we're just evolving. But get into your inner child. That's how you can clear out a lot of the blocks too. Because, the eighth house can be heavy, but if you get into your inner child and you learn how to play and have fun, you can release these shadows really fast, release them, and just get into that soul level joy. Because the eighth house at the end of the day, it is that place of just having that unconditional love for yourself. And when you have that unconditional love for yourself, that's how you can just like get unstuck, whether it's from relationships or jobs or ways you're spending your time and your energy, or ways that you are emotionally stuck. So you can set yourself free, so you can go towards what you value now. And the North Node in the second house, like, what do you value at that soul level? Do you want more freedom, fun? It's good to, with the North Node in Aquarius, to maybe focus on the energy that you want to experience. Because when you prioritize that, then you go towards jobs, people, relationships. You get more of that energy versus saying like, I want this much money or blah, 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 because then you're going to be making that much money and then you're going to be miserable. So like choose that energy because then you're going to get more of that energy back. What do you value? Look at the value list and you can choose what you value. So you can get more of that. But yeah, it's time to get rich. Just don't hang on to let your money beliefs evolve because we are all abundant beings. We just have to figure out the ways that we are naturally abundant and the ways that we can help people with the things that we're naturally good at and the ways that we're naturally abundant. And it might have to do with speaking. Ooh, your throat chakra can definitely be going through evolution during this time. Second house does rule the throat chakra. So speak up more. Just speaking out your ideas. You could have random ideas that you're just speaking out. You could become more of a channel during this time. That can, and when you speak from your throat chakra, it does help you anchor more of your knowing. And it helps you live more so in alignment, with how you're feeling, how you're speaking and how you're moving, all like in congruency, all in alignment. So you are super powerful with going towards what's for you, and it makes you super magnetic. And you could be going through a heart chakra awakening. So let that heart chakra pop open, because that will make you very magnetic. But going forward, let yourself move forward, and it will be in a winding, not predetermined path. That's the thing with the eighth house. We don't want to leave things sometimes because it is like security. It's like where like our foundation has been. But we are moving into a time where us having more trust and faith and more of a solid core. Ooh, the moon is so big right now. Being more solid with our core. And that's at the end of the day, when you get so solid with your core, like everything can be taken away. But you can build that up like so fast again when you're just like solid. So yeah, faith tests might happen, but yeah, this can be an exciting wild ride, but this kind of reminds me again, like an easy flowy river towards more abundance in a way that is easy and actually fulfilling. And, when you're manifesting in a way that is so easy, flowing, and fun, it is like you're just walking down memory lane so that you can tune into that kind of feeling to know that you're going in the right direction. But it is all about living in the present moment and accepting all the opportunities in the present moment to go towards that abundance, and just know you're being carried towards the light and towards a brighter horizon. All right, Capricorn. And if you would like, a reading and to work with me, check out my links down below. Hi, Aquarius. Okay, so it's time to be different. It's time to prioritize yourself more than your relationships. The South Node in your seventh house, you're only going to be aligning to certain relationships that are resonant with you now. And it's important right now for you to grow and evolve and change and be your unique self. And that can always be scary sometimes in the beginning. It's scary in the beginning, it's cringe. And there's so many ways that we have suppressed like who we really are. Because we just grow up with this society where everyone's trying to fit in, everyone is afraid of people judging everyone and blah, 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 blah. And, if we had parents or whoever we were around growing up, if they judge people, then we just took on those beliefs like by being around, it's absorption, like it's not even us really. But these are the things that we are releasing. And the way we can release it is by just getting into our inner child so we can remember who we were before the programming. And that's kind of who can come in during this time. Soulmates from the past can come in during this time. I will say sometimes they only come in to remind you, who you are and who you have been in past lives even. But, and I won't say this for every relationship, but sometimes they come in to remind you, but not to stay. Just be aware. And then, yeah, but strong soulmate connections either way can come in to remind you more of you and to remind you of who you truly are at that soul level. And you'll recognize that because there will be that familiarity. There will be just that bouncing back and forth and off of each other. And yeah, it's all about finding those relationships that really amplify you and that encourage you to be that different version of yourself, to be that unique version of yourself. And maybe they help you kind of get through some fears that were maybe holding you back. Because you can be going through big changes, when the nodes are at an angle, and especially the first house and the seventh house, big things can shift, where we live, where we work. You are just being pushed to embody yourself to the next level, which is it can be uncomfortable sometimes, but it feels freeing. But yeah, personal growth and evolution, and the nodes are like a little hyper sometimes. So sometimes they'll push you to grow and evolve into like new experiences, new jobs, new ways of connecting with people, new ways of being that is destined. You were meant to be this bigger version of you. And you just got to let yourself do it, face those fears, like know that you're powerful and people see you as powerful too. That's what I've noticed with Aquarius is recently is them not recognizing they are powerful. Like you are a people person, you love everybody. You should be the powerful one, but you have to accept that you are powerful, and kind of take advice from the Leos a little bit, like be a little bit more, I want to say confident in your power, not selfish with your power. There's a way to be selfish, but while you're helping other people. And that's kind of like what you're doing, like you got to prioritize yourself and your talents and know who you are and what you have to give. But people will come and test your boundaries and like, especially with Pluto, like, just do you know you're powerful? Do you know you're powerful? Like test it. So you find your power. Because at the end of the day, what's happening, like relationships are always a mirror and they are just trying to show you like what you're unconscious of. So if you're magnetized towards somebody, this is like just something that they embody, an energy that they embody that you have, but it's not fully active in you. And the people that are jealous of you, they're just showing you like, okay, how much bullshit will you take before you put up the boundary, before you know your power, because you are power, you will win. With Pluto is on your side, you are win, and power, by the way, has been taught wrong in society. Power is not what we've been taught. Real, true power is being able to be unconditional love in the face of everything. And that's actually more difficult because it's choosing vulnerability, choosing open-heartedness, choosing love, choosing, just the loving perspective no matter what. And, that's what we're evolving through. But the more that you do that over and over and over, the easier it does get. But yes, it'll always, the universe will always bring people in to, try to get you to that unconditionally loving lens. And when you do that, though, you release yourself. And it's like the most powerful people are what's Nelson Mandela? Yeah, people were saying how they would be around him and how they would just feel like this amplified frequency of love. And, maybe you've been around people like that too. But that is what true power is. It is like staying anchored in the love that is in the center of your being and not letting other people like take you out of that. And that's true power. And then amplifying the core of your being with that unconditional love, so nothing can take you off track, and so you can actually help change them and bring them into calm and coherence and remind them of their own love. And that is way more powerful than any violence or bullshit or power tactics that anybody else can do. And yeah, so maybe there's some people that come into your life that show you that too, so you can be more of that. And those are the people you want to go towards, the people that remind you of your inner child and your true happiness and of more love. Yeah, okay. What else? Anything else? Yeah, go towards, just breaking out of the box, like embrace polarity, seeing different sides of whatever, everything basically, because that's what we're doing here, is just like going from duality into quantum unity understanding. So any sort of polarity that you see of anything, try to see both sides so you can get into unity consciousness and into that quantum consciousness. But yeah, be open to the ways that your life can change, whether it is career, relationships, marriage partners, business partners, clients, the ways your family live, the way how you represent yourself out in the world. The power is in your hands massively with the ways that you can change your life and the ways that you can manifest your life. And you want to be so directed on your desires and what you truly want. And when you do that, like you can massively you can go for it in such a powerful way, and you can build an empire. But it's all about believing in yourself and having the right people on your side, and big dreamers on your side. And yeah, getting back into the core of who you truly are, which is unconditional love at the end of the day. So no, you are the prosperity. Pluto in your first house, you are the prosperity. But it's all about embracing all the colors of the universe. And then again, getting into the core of your being to recognize that prosperity. Everyone's born with a ton of prosperity, and you just have the power and the drive to go create anything that you want. But it's all about like staying true to yourself and what you came here to give the world, because you came here to give something big. If you're Aquarius rising, you are the leader. You are kind of the leader of the new earth to kind of show us like how it can be done. But yeah, you know what you can do. Okay. The frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being and allowing inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration in the abundance of the universe and the riches. So yeah, the more that you can prioritize your own joy and your own fun and your excitement, the more you're going to be going towards that prosperity. And you don't have to think about like the old ways of prosperity. Live in that abundance, live in your own prosperity, live in your own joy, live in your own creation. And that's how you will be a whirlwind of just pulling and magnetizing the prosperity towards you. That's what Pluto wants to do. But you got to prioritize yourself in the ways that you feel good first. Action. You'll know what to take action on. You'll feel that rush of the desire, and it might even feel a little stormy because sometimes like Aquarius energy can majorly awaken us with a storm, but a storm comes in, it washes away everything that's not us, and then it awakens us to more of the core of who we truly are, and it like electrifies us, and then we just get pushed towards those desires and what is truly meant for us. And sometimes it can be a wild ride, but it is a fun ride at the end of the day. And yeah, be open to new beginnings. This can be like something that you truly remember at the core of your being. And that's maybe where you'll get the knowing of what this new beginning can be. You're really tuning into yourself and your heart, and you're remembering like what you came here for. and you're feeling that expansion, you're feeling that aliveness. Let it awaken you. Let it just bring the vibrancy of this reality in, because that's the thing. Pluto, sometimes we can tunnel vision into the bad, but if you zoom out and just have this quantum perspective, that's how you are just opening up to the vibrancy that this reality actually is. It's kind of like we were stuck in a dull, gray, dead world. Now we're opening up to the quantum reality, the magical world that we're actually in. As long as you are choosing it and you are choosing to anchor it yourself. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. And if you would like to work with me, check out my links down below. Hi, Pisces. Okay, so this is probably nice, since you've gone through the whirlwind of, the North Node in your first house, South Node in your seventh house, dealing with yourself and relationships and life changes and just big pivots in life. You're done. You made it. Now it can be a little bit more of downtime because the North Node in the 12th house, you're being pushed towards maybe downtime, hermit mode, working on passion projects, working more so behind the scenes, relaxing, whatever you want to do, whatever you're deeply, soulfully being called to do, that is what you need to do. And the more that you prioritize that, what your soul wants to do and what you're passionate about, and hanging out with people that you want to hang out with, the more that you can go through this adjustment with your work life. As you are releasing karma with the South Node in your sixth house. And this might be certain relationships. This might be work that was just like too much work and not enough reward. But if you are letting go of old work, that new work is coming in and it's going to be way more aligned. It's going to be way more fun. And it's helpful for you to get into your inner child in your own abundance and joy and play. So you can go find that job or work or creating your own work. Okay. We're moving into the time though where it's time to prioritize your soul's passions. And as long as you're passionate about it too, and passionate about the amount of money that you're being paid or whatever, maybe you don't like the work, but you love the money that you're being paid. This is the time to be abundant with whatever you do in your everyday life and with work. So this is a great time to create a business too. So if you want to have more freedom, flexibility, and downtime, this could be a time where you let go of an old way of making money so you can make money in a way that is truly, aligned with who you are now. Or you're just readjusting your business. Maybe you were working too hard and you can kind of go through this alignment with like working smarter, not harder. Maybe you're delegating or, switching things around. Or yeah, there can just be a lot of flexibility with that. And ultimately, I love this just for alignment. This can be a massive way that you are anchoring more of your higher self. And with that, it's good to just like let go of old habits, routines, patterns, ways of living. The sixth house is just what we do in our everyday life. And it's all about breaking out of those loops and habits and routines and patterns that might have been more so stuck in survival or habit or just like, the lower energies. The more that you can get into those higher energies of taking action, which is, from abundance, fun, joy, play, the more that you can actually create those higher timelines in your everyday life. So prioritize the energy. Prioritize the energy in your everyday life. Prioritize your fun and your joy and excitement, and you can kind of move in more quantum ways towards abundance. And don't forget about somatics, because somatics, or working with the fascia, because when we're accessing higher templates, from our higher self and anchoring more of our frequency, which can definitely be happening, you want to, like, the old beliefs are in the body. So when you clear those out and you start moving and being in a different way, then magic can happen. This is a great time for you to just start being that next level version of yourself. So you can receive that abundance, whether it is jobs, opportunities, aligning with better relationships, creating in a different way, working out in a different way, really taking care of your body, taking care of your vessels, self-care, self-love. So yeah, I don't know. The sixth house is important because it's kind of like the basic and mundane stuff that we do, that gives us more of that solid foundation to really go achieve out in the world. So it's really important. And the more that you can align with your inner child when it comes to your mundane life, the more abundance and opportunities you can receive. And the more that your higher self is actually amplified and you're just strengthening that signal with your higher self and living more so in flow and in alignment and with a lot more magnetism. Okay, so realization. Wow, I actually have never gotten this card before. I've had this deck for a while, so let me see what this means. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. I love that. Yeah. You are living out your heart-centered truth in your everyday life to recognize the full expression that you can have out in the world, which may be like a way higher expression. So ask yourself, what characters or superheroes or book characters did you like as a kid? Because that might be the archetype or energy that you can embody more so in your everyday life, that is more heart-centered, that can make magic happen in your everyday life. And it's like you can break through you can have these major realizations of where you were just stuck in these lower loops of creation. So you can just free yourself and majorly elevate yourself and create your life and live your life more so in resonance with who you truly are. Because you're getting into your truth, your soul truth, and that's going to allow a lot more freedom and a lot more abundance and flow in a more easy, effortless way. And some of you might be creating something, with the North Node in the 12th house. This is a powerful time to just go into the essence of who you are and create something, create a passion project, create a song, create with friends, create behind the scenes. And this might just be a far out idea too, like something that is very fifth dimensional, that has never really been here before. And you are kind of bringing it down here. So yeah, pay attention to, let me read this. Conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. So yeah, visualizing is really strong right now. Imagining, when we visualize, we are creating that reality. We are using the same source that has created everything to start creating that reality. That's why people that build buildings, architects and inventors, they spend so much time in their imagination and visualizing things. And there has been architects that have built whole buildings in their minds before they started building the building. And yeah, because you're bringing that into reality and you're making it happen a lot easier. Like we are, like an atom is 99.99999% energy, and only 0.00001% is actually physical. There's so much power with being able to visualize, being able to imagine future timelines. That is super, super powerful right now, and that can just make things happen in a quantum way, in a lot easier way. You are creating that timeline for yourself. You are anchoring that timeline. You can become that version of you in such an easier way. So you can magnetize the opportunities to you you're just working with the feminine energy. You're really just organizing the field so that can become your reality. Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you so much, Pisces. And if you would like to work with me, check out my links down below. All right, fire signs. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. All this fire, so much more fun. I'm so excited for the fire signs because we're going through it with, that wet noodle North Node in Pisces and all the other stuff in the water signs. Now it is the time to grow through fun, excitement, play, ease, optimism through connecting with friends in social networks and being out and about and having fun. Because, yeah, with the North Node in the 11th house, it's time to, like, I love the 11th house because it is just the break out of the box house. Whatever you feel like doing that sounds exciting, especially if you're excited about a hope or a dream or a vision, that's meant for you. That's something you're meant to be doing. Like that is hitting you in the core of your being like, this is a direction that you're meant to be going in. So if you get excited about a random dream or creating something random, a project, or connecting with certain people, doing something on social media, a certain job opportunity, the world is yours and you will be rewarded if you go in that direction. And at the same time, like the more that you can connect with your inner child, the more you can be more so aligned with the right dreams, hopes, dreams, and desires that are truly resonant with you. Because there's an abundance of just fun, playful energy in the fifth house. It is your fun, it is your creativity, it is your joy, it is your inner child. And the more that you can just like be in that energy, the more you will be rewarded out in the world with the 11th house stuff. Because that's how you attract your people. That's how you download that consciousness into your body so you can be that vessel that receives whatever ideas, whatever you are supposed to be creating. This is a powerful time to create music, art, express yourself in different ways, and get more into that full expression of who you authentically are, and having a lot of fun doing it and breaking out all the ways you might have repressed yourself from doing it in the first place. And that's just going to help you in general because Saturn in the first house, sometimes that can be a little bit heavy, but you have so much support and you did all the heavy stuff with the wet noodle water stuff. Now I think you're just getting the support anyway. And it's kind of like, yeah, maybe there's work, but you're having fun working, and maybe it's work and you're building your life in the way that you want to, and there's long-term gratification there, but you know where you're going and it's exactly what you want to be doing in life, and it's exactly lined up with your purpose. And yeah, it's in alignment with like, that dream that you have had as an inner child, as a child, and whatever. So yeah, people can be coming into your life that is like just in resonance with, who you are at that core level of your being. That, they amplify you, they give you more ideas, they inspire you to go out in the world and to be more of your unique self. Um, they give you more compassion and hearts. They're very heart-centered connections, and romantic connections can come in too. It is the fifth house, but I don't know. I think this is a powerful time where like strong just soul connections can come in that are in alignment with like a bigger dream and vision. And that can be very powerful. I will say with the South Node, though, I guess be careful of, I don't know, it depends how many soul connections that you have gone through already. Soul connections that are just meant to remind you of a certain way of being, but you don't need to like hang on to them so tightly, like a twin flame or something. Like, that can be complicated. But yeah, I mean, that is a connection that will remind you the most of who you truly are at the core of who you truly are. Um, synergy came out. Okay, so synergy, the frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations of unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, being, and it reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. I love that. That is literally perfect for the 11th house. And I forget what gene key it is. Oh my gosh, if I remembered it, it'd be so. But there's one called synergy, and it literally is just it is vibrational. Our connections are vibrational. And when you're with the right connections, there's just this synergy, there's this flow, there's a little bit of telepathy. Um, and there's just this new potential of working and creating out in the world that it's so natural. It's the way we were always supposed to work. And this is the new paradigm that we're stepping into. It's just ease, abundance, and flow, and synergy, and more inspiration, and fun, and creativity, and excitement, and joy in our everyday life. You know, not being stuck in a cubicle and hating Brenda or whoever is working next to us. Like we're moving from beyond those times and we're synergizing with the people that we're supposed to be working it with. Baby's looking at me for being low vibrational a little bit. Anyway, she didn't like my tone there. Sorry, she didn't like my tone. I telepathically talk with Bimmy, and she's actually a very old soul. She's like a little Yoda from like a very high dimension. So she's just very, very sensitive. But yeah, whatever sensitive souls that you're synergizing with, yeah, embrace the change because for one, it's like the new stability wants to come in for you. And it's important to just be open and think out of the box with the ways that things can come together, whether it is like working with people or new friendships, new ways of traveling and having fun out in the world. Yeah, let things kind of come together in a very synchronistic way. Compassion. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be divine mediators between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. So yeah, just because we're moving into a better time doesn't mean like it's all kumbaya. Like a lot of relationships will trigger us for a reason. So we can have that unconditional love and acceptance for everyone. And that's the goal, you know, because that actually frees ourselves and it gives us that very wide lens with how we can achieve our hopes and dreams in the easiest way because it gets us unstuck so we can just align more with like what is actually for us. And so we can live in trust, faith, synchronicity, alignment, like flowing along in an easy, effortless way towards the people, places, and things and hopes and dreams that will awaken us even more and into more depth of who we truly are. So compassion for yourself and others will kind of bring you into this synergy. And forgiveness. Forgiveness can be really, really powerful. Maybe there's ways that you can, yeah, the faster with Pluto in the 11th house, I will say sometimes like challenging relationships can come in, or maybe there's relationships from the past that you can find forgiveness with. Because at the end of the day, it's so crazy. And I'm realizing this to the next in-depth level. Like it does not matter us placing blame on relationships of the past will never work out for us because we will get that same lesson in another person until we just forgive, until we have compassion and that just love for the other person and whatever lesson that was. If we don't find that, then that's that magnet just pulling the same people back to experience the same thing. And yeah, that's how you evolve out of the loops of the same people that come in with different faces, but the same lesson and the same thing that happens. So yeah, that can be a challenging thing that happens. But again, your inner child like loved everybody and just, kids get over things so fast. Kids can teach you a lot right now. They don't hang on to it. They live fully in the present moment. And that's how you can have the most abundance during this time, is by being in your inner child, living in the wonder and the joy and the limitless lens and in the present moment to achieve all your hopes, wishes, and dreams possible. All right. Thank you so much, Aries. And if you would like to work with me, check out my links down below. Hi, Taurus. Okay, last fixed sign. This could be a little bit more of a more active eclipse cycle for you, but at the same time, it is slow, steady evolution because we have literally 2 years of this going on. So don't get panicked. Don't freak out. As long as you are living in alignment and tuned in with who you truly are, things can happen in a very smooth way. Not everybody has to have a chaotic eclipse. But this could be a big like shift with where you live and who you are out in the world. Your home, family, and foundation, and what you do out in the world, what you are known for, what you came here to create. Because with Pluto in the 10th, you can be very powerful with creating something. Rihanna in Aries rising, she did this the best with creating her companies. I think she has a lot of companies, but she created them in the image of her. Like she brought her literal core essence and put it out there in the world. And that's how she made a ton of money. I think she's a billionaire. And she did it on her own. So you can be like the next Rihanna, but it is all about like not being afraid to be different and not being afraid to take, who you truly are and prioritize what you love and let it be shown out in the world. Because with the South Node in the fourth house, you could be releasing a lot when it comes to home and family. You could be releasing a lot of ancestral stuff. Ancestral patterns that have been keeping the lineage stuck, and getting back into, anchoring those soul templates of who you truly are, which is joy, love, unconditional love, happiness, abundance, and really anchoring that into your being. And the more that you do that, and the more that you remember your inner child, the easier it is to like be who you really want to be out in the world. Because it's kind of like it removes the blocks. You remember when you get into just that playfulness and just have fun, then you can just put it out there. You don't care what people think because you are just so in tune with who you really are, and you're making yourself laugh, basically. You're just having fun for you. And that's how you can go create out in the world, whether it is a business, whether it is social media, whether it is, I don't know, like living life the way you want to live it. If you want to live in a different way, if you want to create a family in a way that is different, that's more so breaking the mold, and it's not so stuffy and stuck in stagnant, family patterns in the way that hasn't worked in the past, that can actually evolve in a better way into the future, then that can be a super powerful thing right now. But what do you want to be known for? That is the key. And the more that you can kind of think outside of the box and to just kind of like be aware of this quantum reality that we're moving into, we're moving away from being so like stuck in duality and more so into unity consciousness. So the way that you can kind of explore this is like, I gotta sneeze, one sec. you see both sides, you get both sides, and then you get it. You just get it. And this can be very, very challenging because sometimes it's exploring the light, sometimes it's the dark, sometimes it's 3D, sometimes it's 5D, masculine, feminine, all the different ways that we live in polarity and duality here. Um, and then being able to integrate them to higher and higher levels, that does give us more power out in the world because we just can see like more of what reality actually is. We can see universal truth instead of being so in our boxes and so polarized like we have been in the past. So yeah, remember your fun, remember your joy, that is in the core of your being that wants to come alive right now. You want to express yourself in different ways. You want to have this big dream, and go achieve it out in the world. And the more that you prioritize your dream, like uniquely, what is that? What does that look like for you? Stop caring about what other people think, it should be or what it has to look like or whatever. Then you go and create that out in the world. And that's how you can be the most powerful. So release. Oh, I love how this card always comes out when I'm talking about like releasing ancestral stuff because it's the tree. You're shedding the leaves of what hasn't worked, and all just that ancestral stuff, the trauma, the survival, the whatever. Your ancestors are praising you. They're going to give you all the support. If you release that stuff, if you do things differently, that's how the abundance that was always supposed to come in can come in. And yeah, that's what's going to set your heart on fire to really create something really powerful and really abundant out in the world. And I like how it's a red tree. It's like something that the world has never seen. But it's from the lineage and it's from the core of who you are and it's strong. That's awesome. Synergy. So yeah, this can be aligning with like people in a big way. I love this synergy card. There's a gate in Gene Keys that's called synergy. I forget what it is, but you can look it up. But basically, we're moving into a time where, the more that we get solid in our frequency, like solid in the core of who we truly are, the more we align with people that just bring about that synergy. Let me read this. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of those of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. So yeah, this could be a way of people or just opportunities or abundance or just universal ways that the universe works that has never really come in such a like quantum way. This kind of reminds me of like a magnet. Like you're in the center, but people and universal forces are just coming towards you to really like just fit together like in place in such a synchronistic way. So it's very like good to just stay open-minded to how things can work. And the more that you can just live in the present moment in your joy and your happiness and your gratitude, the more like the universal forces can actually come together to fulfill this like big legacy that you're actually doing. Like you don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. You just have to live in joy and break the cycles and just know that the universal forces are going to come in to help you regardless. Authority, let's see. This is like the new way of authority. The frequency of authority reminds us that true authority is powerful, directed, and realized, yet receptive, wise, and loving. So the new authority is going to be more the divine feminine energy until 2044. I don't know why that sounded weird. Until 2044, so a very long time. And if in human design, projectors are the new authority, and they are like a very feminine essence. Reflectors are feminine energy. That is kind of the new authority that is coming in. People that know how to be receptive and co-creative and to be in that abundance consciousness so they can be a vessel for the new ideas and the new abundance and the new ways that things can structure together that is more unity based. Because see, it's 3 circles instead of 2, getting out of duality more into unity. So yeah, be the abundance and live in your happiness, live in your joy, and see how this full-blown legacy can come out of that. All right, thank you so much, Taurus. And if you would like to work with me, check out my links down below. Gemini, you are widening your lens, widening your perspective of this reality. This is where we have the free will. We can create our lens, we can create our perception. And we do that by deciding the meaning that we make of things, the beliefs we have, how we feel about things. And you can be a powerhouse out in the world if you kind of open up your lens. And how you do that is really just by being open-minded, having unconditional love and understanding for everything. Because we're moving out of a time where it was very duality based, it was very rigid. It's like you have to believe in this and this way of being if you want to get into say religions, very strict. You usually have to choose one. You have to subscribe to all these rules and ways of being that might not fully resonate with you because there are literally distortions in every single belief system, because belief systems aren't actually natural. We don't actually need them. When they're kind of like support structures right now until we fully like wake up, and then we don't need them because we have it internally. And so how you kind of download this higher consciousness, and that's kind of what you're doing here too, is by being in the present moment in your everyday life and getting in touch with your inner child in your everyday life. The more that you can live in fun, play, excitement, wonder, in your everyday life, the 3rd house, that's what you do every day. It's like the run errands house. What are you thinking about every day? What are you doing? The more that you can be lighthearted and playful and living in abundance, the more you can just download like brilliant ideas from your higher self. The 9th house is more so like your higher self in the higher consciousness. Brilliant ideas, breakthroughs, insights, breaking out of these lower loops that you might have been stuck in your everyday life. Yeah, random. And you could travel too, actually. Traveling during this time would be very powerful because this kind of reminds me of like traveling someplace. And this happens if you've traveled, like you go to a place and there's so much more information that you pick up just vibrationally and being immersed in the culture with how people actually live and how it's like, more comfortable or what you like about it or whatever. You just like get more of a knowing of it. And I think that is definitely way more amplified now. And if you wanted to learn something, you could actually pick it up really fast, like learn a language during this time, learn a whole philosophy, spirituality, whatever you want to learn, you can learn it really, really fast during this time. And that can also help open up your mind and open up your worldview. But the more that you can live with an open heart in your everyday life, the more the world will open up just naturally. But yeah, be open to new just perspectives, new insights. You're being pushed in a very powerful way towards your soul purpose, towards your Dharma timeline, which is fun, your soul purpose always resonates with you. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. You're going to be motivated towards it. It's going to make you like, yeah, you're just going to want to do it because it's something that you want to do. And when you go in that direction, you're on your Dharma timeline, and things kind of just get easier in your life because you are doing what you came here to do. And yeah, could be a time where that just evolves. Maybe you're already doing your purpose, but this can evolve in a major way. In a way that is more so in alignment with where we are now, which is moving into the quantum era. So be open to how that can happen. And all you have to do is follow your fun, follow your curiosity, follow your joy, see where that takes you, and trust you already have the wisdom inside of you. Okay, so allowance. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way without judgment, without opinion, without fear, without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So, yeah, that's what you can get into now. The fastest way, because it's kind of like when you just decide to have unconditional love for everything, it's like you jump up to the higher perspective and you can look down at the stupid perspectives, you know, where we were in fear or doubt or judgment. Judgment literally builds a wall to a whole part of reality and you don't have access to that. That's building an internal wall so you don't see it. So you don't see that universal truth of what it actually is. Like you build a wall so you just project what you want to see, which is always going to be more limited. But so when you transform those limiting beliefs and limiting mindsets and you just have unconditional love or acceptance towards it, then you can kind of look down and you have this wider perspective, this wider lens that like is just this wider knowing because wisdom came out. Your soul's wisdom is coming online in a big way. And that's important because you're kind of meant to be a powerhouse out in the world doing your purpose. And you can only do that if you transform your previous beliefs that are maybe fear-based or lower vibrational into that unconditional love. Because it's like your higher self wants to dive down and just be embodied every single day. And that's how your vibration can go up. That's how you can become magnetic. That's how you can just live in magic every day with signs and synchronicities and opportunities and wonder. Oh my God, that's how you can really live. And it's all about like transforming those beliefs and living in the magic, being in the magic every single day so that can happen. Then you just have this innate wisdom that is already inside of you, just anchored. And then relaxation. Yep. You're kind of moving into an era where you can do less in your everyday life and let yourself relax. It just depends on you more so living in your own alignment, really being tuned into yourself, prioritizing your consciousness every day, prioritizing your inner child. And so this just wisdom can come in. So you can move at the right place, at the right time, act on the right ideas. And this could be a very abundant time where you're just like creating something, whether it is art or music or a blog, writing, teaching, learning, traveling for something fun. Yeah, something like that, creating something in your everyday life, because you could just download something, a whole like song or book or whatever and write it. And yeah. Okay, is that it for Gemini? Yes. Okay, Gemini. And if you would like help shifting your perception in your lens, I have a whole program with how to do it. It's called The Shift. It'll help you harness this energy so you can be anchored in your everyday life. Co-creating your reality and manifesting your reality in whatever you want and going towards your big dreams and desires. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. And yeah, if you would like a reading, check out my links down below. Hi, Cancer. Okay. So the second house and the eighth house, you're going to go through a shift when it comes to your finances. And yeah, you might be kind of releasing scarcity mindsets or just lack mindsets. And you do that by just getting back into your inner child and your joy. And we are all born massively abundant beings. It's just about recognizing that and recognizing your value and your innate gifts that you were born with, that you came here with, that you just naturally have. And knowing that that is yours to give to the world and that is yours to give to people that can help them and that can make you, that can give you a lot of stability and security um, along the way too. And at the same time, it might not be super comfortable because the second house, eighth house, it is challenging because it does bring challenges when it comes to our security. The second house is just the basics for security, like what we have in the fridge, what we need in the material realm to really feel supported here. And that's important. And you could just be going through shifts to get more aligned with what is going to be the most abundant and also what you're supposed to be doing more of with the nodes. Because it's soul growth and evolution. Maybe you've been wanting to make money in a certain way and you've just said, oh, that's not for me. I can't do that. That's for only those people. Maybe you want to be an influencer or, you're like, oh, look at them. I want to be an influencer. Like that looks amazing. Or, oh, I want to, teach astrology or, oh, I want to, make an online course. Whatever it is, whatever you're drawn towards, being a makeup artist, being in the beauty industry, whatever you want to do, realize if you desire it, you can do it. Like you are meant to do it. You're meant to go after your big dreams and make a living in the way that you want to, be supported in the way that you want to, have the amount of money that you want to. And it's all about giving yourself permission and rewriting the story so you can give yourself permission to do that. Because with the North Node in the eighth house, this is going to be probably a big awakening. And you might be releasing a lot of fears and doubts and scarcity and kind of going through this purge with lineage stuff, possibly, because this card always comes out when it comes to releasing ancestral stuff, but it's powerful because it's like when you break those, ancestral loops and just lower energies that we inherited, then you get rewarded. The ancestors come in and they want to give you so much more abundance. And it's kind of like the abundance that you guys were always meant to have that you didn't get to because there was like rules and, governments and kingdoms and burning of the stakes and everything that like stopped us from making money from our gifts and our talents. But it is your time for a ton of money to come in by using your gifts and your talents. So what I see this as is like a massive tree of wealth that is just being resurrected, not resurrected, I don't know, just like, yeah, just planted. I mean, I think it's just here already, actually. That's what I think. I think the abundance is already here, but it's just about you recognizing it and you just having the courage with it and you just like truly believing in it. And then I think that's, what's being just planted, like long-term security. That is a lot of abundance that is for like legacy, generations, whatever. That's already here. But it's just like recognizing that it's already here. But the North Node, yeah, clearing through your eighth house. So during this time, and it is like a 2-year process, and especially with Pluto here, there just might be this deeper transformation that you go through with your fears, doubts, insecurities. And at the end of the day, the eighth house just wants you to recognize the core of who you truly are, which is unconditional love. So to not get, not be too attached to anything literally in this life, relationships, money, security, houses, whatever. I think there's a couple quotes like the Bible. Oh, there's a couple quotes like I'm sorry, this is my last one. I'm like tired. The Bible has one like the camel can go through the eye of the needle a lot easier than a rich man can get into the kingdom of heaven. And that, how Aladdin used to have the doorway, has the doorways that is like the keyhole, so that a camel can go through that with all its bags a lot easier than a rich man can get into the kingdom of heaven. That's because the rich man won't believe the vision more in his mind than the security and the abundance and the possessions and everything that is already stacked up in the 3D reality. Like the mind of the rich man will be worried about what's this, what's this, what's this, what's this, and just everything in the 3D reality, and will not trust the transformation that sometimes that we have to go through to be more in alignment with our happiness and what we actually came here for, and maybe way more money, way more abundance, to get to that vision in the mind. And that could be the test, because the 8th house, sometimes we have to go through this big life transformation, so we can truly get in alignment with what we truly came here to do and with the right people. And if some of you are going through that, then it is hard. You do have to face those deepest fears in life. Sometimes, like it is, the 8th house is the no fun house. It has the deepest fears of life that we go through, death, taxes, all the not fun stuff. But sometimes it is just like being okay with it, and you don't actually have to go through it. You have to just be willing to be like, okay, what if we let go of that relationship? Okay. What if we let go of that house? Okay. What if we let go of, and then your perspective can shift. What if we let go of that contract? What if we let go of that job? Your perspective can shift, and then you are anchoring that foundation of who you truly are and realizing that is your support no matter what. Buddhism has another quote, like Buddhism that reminded me of the White Lotus. Buddhism. Okay. No attachments will always lead to misery or something like that. And it is true, because when you get into the core of who you truly are and you find that piece of who you truly are, you get so much more access to what you could possibly do. You get so much more freedom. You get so many more options because you are just directly facing your fears and not letting your fears control you. And that's like, at the end of the day, that's what leads us to the bad relationships, or the not bad relationships, the relationships that will teach us the lessons, and the money lessons and all the lessons that we don't want to go through with in the first place. So it's all about just getting so solid in the unconditional love of the being that you are, and having unconditional self-love so you can deal with those, go through that transformation in yourself, so you don't have to learn it externally. So at the end of the day, just see where you can loosen your grip. Where can you go through this evolution when it comes to investments, serious relationships, money, security, all these. Let's see what else. Yeah, pretty much go through an evolution with that, so you can have a more quantum view of how this is going to look like with the times that we're evolving into, because it's also going to look very different. We are moving into different relationship templates, which are more so based in unconditional love. And you have to be the unconditional love to see how it can evolve into unconditional love. It's like, okay, wait, here's a new template. Here's the new template. And that's how things can actually be better. Same with money, unconditional love in more of a quantum way and energy first when it comes to money. And that's how you can be quantum rich. Is just like having that quantum foundation with money, and imprinting that template to like be the most abundant. And yeah. Okay. And also, this is a great time for psychic development. So if you don't know anything about, if you're not really developed in your psychicness, this is the time to really kind of, maybe learn about that, because you can, especially with Uranus in the 12th house, you can be very psychic and get a lot of help from your higher self and just your psychic senses and all the gifts that are coming online right now. Like, this definitely looks like you can just be so connected to the field and receive whatever information that you could possibly ever want. And that's possible because I've done that before. Like, there was a week, I don't know what was going on. I think I had like Saturn Pisces in the 8th house and then Jupiter in the 12th house. I was just asking myself random questions and I was just receiving it right away. I got to get back to that. But it is possible. So psychic gifts and development, and the more that you kind of clear your internal world and get into that unconditional love, the easier access you have with all of that. And anything else? No? All right. All right, Cancer, thank you so much. And if you would like to work with me evolving into this energy, then definitely check out my links down below. Wait a minute. Sorry, Cancer. How did I not read the cards? Okay. So communication, there's going to be a new way of communicating. And I think you're going to discover the new way of communicating internally. This reminds me of telepathy, actually, because this is like, yeah, I don't know. There's, yeah, let me read this. Let's see. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. Almost didn't read your cards. Communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through your heart, the center of truth, to stay in flow with source in the balanced exchange. So yeah, you can do telepathy with anybody and anything. I've been doing it with trees lately, which, God, I wish I knew this when I was younger, because like I didn't know that psychically connecting with trees, and the older the tree is, like it's like taking a Xanax. I swear to God, I took like I connected with like 100-year-old tree or older like the other day, and I felt this wave of calm that was like way stronger than any Xanax for like an hour. And it's like, oh my God, I'm going back to that tree like now for a while because that was so nice. But anyway, that would make sense with like 8th house. There can be a new way of energetic communication with people and your surroundings. And you can do it with your animals. You can imagine your heart glowing, connecting to their little heart and, connecting with them that way. They are very wise, actually. Like, we thought they were just cute little things running around. They actually have like higher intelligence most of the time. But yeah, realize, and with the strong connections, there will just be this natural telepathy that happens. And you can expect that to come in pretty easily. Magic, you're tuning into your inner magic. And once you do that, like more magic can happen in your reality. So the frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to expand, grow beyond the moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. And that is required our belief in the manifestation. So dive into manifestation too. The laws of the universe, the 8th house, that's what I was going to say. Dive into learning about this reality and maybe the occult stuff. Occult just means hidden. but you can learn a lot about the underlying mechanics of reality and realize that reality is actually magical. Like you can harness magic pretty powerfully right now, actually. And the magic has to start with you, though. You have to figure out how this actually works and how consciousness works. And what I discovered is like doing magic and rituals and using the manifestation tools, those are literally just like training wheels. Because at the end of the day, it's all about just mastering consciousness. So I don't even need to like use the magic anymore or do the tools anymore because you just make that firm switch in your consciousness and you are just becoming the mass. And sometimes it's fun to use magic to kind of learn, have fun training wheels. Then you can just become a master of your reality just through consciousness, though, because at the end of the day, it is just deciding the reality that you want to experience internally. And leadership. Some of you might be stepping into powerful leadership. That would make sense with Saturn and Neptune in the 10th house, and you're receiving a lot of support with it. Like, look at this abundant flow of just like flow coming in, and it's coming in a quantum way. Quantum abundance wants to come in, and you might just be asked to step up and take the lead. With you naturally being in tune with powerful feminine energy, that is what's going to be powerful in this new era. And you just knowing how to flow with it and live in alignment with it and to live in alignment in general and live in your own congruence. You can just naturally flow. Like you already have this within you and you're already ready to take the lead. And yeah, you just have to realize that, remember, Mufasa. Remember, this is your time to just do it. And like, it doesn't have to be hard. It's actually going to be fun. It's going to be you more so stepping into your inner child and creating. And it's going to happen in this quantum web magical way. All right, Cancer. Thank you so much. And if you would like to work with me, check out my links down below.